There's been more and more UFO sightings and more footage that has come out. And this one over Brazil, if true, looks pretty damn clear if you think it is actually a UFO. Okay, so welcome to the channel, everybody. It's Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff. This is our Monday through Friday UAP news channel where we try to bring you what's going on in the world of the phenomenon. Now, there is going to be a full-on episode tomorrow. The UAP Tuesday will return, and there's a lot of stories to discuss. There's a lot more potential information coming out. There's stuff that's going on with Lou Elizondo's book. There's other things about new information that could be coming out over the next couple of weeks, months. There's a lot. So tune into that because that's going to take us just about an hour or so to get into all of it because there's so much. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so you get all that stuff. We're approaching 30,000 already, and we hope you'll join us for the ride. One of the stories that we'll probably talk about tomorrow, but I wanted to talk about it with you guys first, is this footage. This is actually, if you watch UAP Tuesday, Attack Peter actually sent this to me, and this is footage that happened over Brazil, and it's interesting to say the least. Let me show you this to you guys. Once you kind of see it there. And it looks like it could be a blimp, could be, I don't know what the hell that is. When you look at it, it's kind of floating off and you see somebody who's seen it in the sky. This car is kind of just driving by as this thing is now, it looks up and it's still there. And you see it just kind of out in the distance, he zooms in on it. And it's just kind of sitting there. I don't know if there's been any explanation on it or whatever it might be, but it's got, I don't know if it's a blue tint or just the way that the actual footage plays. So I don't know. I see that, and I saw some people who said it is a kite, that they do kites all the time in Brazil, and that's easily a kite. And other people saying that it's for the ship from Flight of the Navigator, if you don't know that movie. So there are these... there are a lot of different comments and people, of course, anytime you see something like this, it just seems like there's always two sides of it right away. The two sides out of the loudest. It's that's clearly a kite. It's nonsense. Cut it out. Stop wanting to believe. Other people going, that's clearly a UFO. It's exactly what that is. There's no way it could be anything else. I like to be more in the middle and going, I don't know what the hell it is. I don't know. I have no idea what the hell that is. And it's just another one of those things where I think, as I've said, and I'll probably say this on every video because I think it's always relevant, is in my head, I feel like there's people going, well, I didn't see it on the news, on the main news, then it must be nonsense. And I always wonder why they don't even cover some of these things, because they probably think, well, there's some kind of explanation for it. And right now, the news is covering just the election, really. It's the only thing they're going to be covering. The entire, well, not local news. There's lots of cats stuck in trees that local news has to cover over this. So you see it, though, and you see that particular footage, and it makes you curious because I like to play in the side of, because as I mentioned to you in the beginning of it, we're going to cover a lot of different topics tomorrow, and one of them is just there was a particular guy who was out there saying that all these different things are coming soon, all this information's coming out, and big names are going to be coming out to kind of push forward disclosure, right? Now, I do wonder, not this video in particular, but if you look at some of the stuff that's rumored to be in Lou Elizondo's book about some of the footage that's covered and how there's these longer videos that haven't been released, and with disclosure and with all those things that could come out, are these types of videos going to eventually say, yeah, you remember that one that you thought was not real or that you just kind of disregarded or no one covered or the corridor crew said it was fake? Well, that's real. That's going to be the day that people are going to go, wow. Or we could just be going in the same merry-go-round, round and round, with me going, who knows, maybe one day. I saw somebody comment on that in the last video I did. They said, you're more on the skeptical side. I'm not on the skeptical side. Skeptical side means that I don't believe in this stuff. I very much believe. I'm skeptical on the side of, do I think that things are going to happen, or is it human nature to get in each other's way? That's where I stand. I feel that no matter how hard we try, or people are going to try to get just truth and information out there. There's other people who don't want it to come out, no matter what, for whatever reason it could be. And there is inside of this report again that we'll be covering tomorrow. And we kept hearing that Arrow was the one, and even Sean Kirkpatrick himself said it blocked the Schumer and Rounds bill for the most part, didn't want that to come out. And this guy kind of collaborates that as well. So it's going to be that's where I go. So when I look at footage like this, do I say, no, that's a balloon? First of all, I hate the balloon thing. That's what everybody says, balloons. But do I think it's a kite? Do I think it's this? If someone went and said, look, we have footage of the guy who put the kite up in the air, and there he is. Look at me. Hey, it's my kite. I say, okay, it was a kite. It's like, well, there's a drone. It's a type of drone that we've been testing out for a while, and this guy got it on tape. Okay, well, there's a drone. But it's just that it's always so silent of like what it is. It's never everyone going, yeah, it's my kite. I flew my kite up there, and it's not a UFO, it's my kite. But that guy's not around. And it seems like that's the type of thing that happens all the time with this situation. Hell yeah, it's frustrating. It's super frustrating. Because it seems like a lot of these stories, especially this that I cover, it's like this one is, I can't even the text that attacked Peter when he sent me this thing. Oh, I said something along the lines. I said, I'm sure someone's going to debunk it soon. But nobody asked, nobody's talked about it. Maybe just because they said, like, yeah, it's just another one of those videos. I don't know anymore. I don't know. And the flip side of all that, because we're in such a place, could be that people are going, oh my God, they got that footage out there and we didn't want anybody to see it. Don't say anything about it at all. That's if these people even realize that's the most legit footage anybody has had yet. But it seems to me, it's always, let's say that is the most accurate one that we have. And you don't think it's a kite, and you think it's the most accurate one, right? And they have it, and that seems to be the most clear thing we've seen, and not just a little zip. Remember the one that I saw out of all the stuff that I've been covering so far, like the footage-wise that I've seen, the one that people took the most serious, I think, so far. I mean, even when I was on the TMZ show in the pilot, we talked about the New York, the Florida one to New York, and that zip across. That was the one that people were talking about the most. And you got to slow it. You have to slow it down because it's going so fast, and you look at it, and even when you do, it's like it could be an orb. That to me seems more of like, well, it was an orb or something. I think, I don't know what that was, but I'm just saying you could have or you could make the argument that it was a drone. What kind of drone looks like this? The one we just showed. I don't know. And it didn't look like a kite. Not to say it isn't, but I don't know. I ask you guys, what do you think about this when you look at this? And these are the types of videos I normally do, the stuff that I'm going to be covering tomorrow about the push forward towards disclosure, the stuff happening within Washington, trying to move this thing, through with the hearings. That's like what I really like to focus in on, because I do think that's what's going to move this forward at all. This stuff, when I find something, because I debated it and which one I was going to leave with today. And I said, I don't know about this one. There's something fascinating about this footage. So I'm going to talk about this with you guys, and I'd love to get your theories. And if it's theories that it's a kite, it's a balloon, it's nothing, CGI, or the opposite, that's a legit one. That's the most legit I've seen so far. Get all your thoughts out there. Put them all out there, because the comment section here has been one of the best things about all of this, because it's the conversation that's been going on, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So thank you for joining us here today. I appreciate it. As always, comment, click the like button, subscribe to the channel. That helps out tremendously. But what also helps out, we have sponsors. And when we get those sponsors, if you get those sponsors also, you help the channel keep going. So I'm going to tell you about both of our sponsors right now. Here you go. Thank you again. This episode of Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let me ask you, what are your self-care non-negotiables? What is it, that you never skip a leg day or therapy day? Because when your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Because even when we know what makes us happy, it is hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. Therapy is very important. I've been in that position, man, when I haven't talked and I've let things bottled up, and it is not a good thing. You got to talk to people. And we've had people on our show that have said, listen, we've needed to speak to people. We had an opportunity to, and BetterHelp has been there for a lot of people very close in my life. Because if you don't know, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, it is flexible, and it is suited to your schedule. All you have to do is you fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. You got to visit betterhelp.com/DTE today. You get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/DTE. All right, before you get out of here, I got to tell you a good way to save money. And one way to save money is stop spending money on things you don't need. Like apps that you're like, oh, that app's going to be amazing. I'm going to use that app. I'll use it free and I'll never use it ever again. And then they charge you. That's what they do. They charge you every month. Well, that's where Rocket Money comes in. Rocket Money is a great service. It's a personal finance app, and it finds and cancels unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Most Americans think they spend around $62 a month on subscriptions. Yeah, right. The real number is close to $300. That is literally thousands of dollars a year, half of which probably have been forgotten about. So that is why I use Rocket Money, and I absolutely love them. Stop wasting money on things you don't even use. Cancel unwanted subscriptions today. Go to rocketmoney.com/DTE. That's rocketmoney.com/DTE. One more time, rocketmoney.com/DTE.